Hi and welcome to another video in my romance series, and in this one I'm going to talk about contemporary romance that I want to suggest, and mainly I just want to suggest authors because there's series in contemporary, but I feel like I'm not explicitly drawn to those the way I am in like a historical, and just like with paranormal, this is something I'm still slowly growing with, so I have a fairly limited experience to pull from. So let's get started. One person I really like is Susan Elizabeth Phillips. She's been writing for a really long time, and even her older books I really like. I think a lot of times older romance can feel dated and frustrating, especially in the historical genre, but I don't feel that way with Susan Elizabeth Phillips books. I do feel like they feel a little dated, like chronologically, like you can tell based on what's going on in them that they're old, but the romances she writes are still relevant to today. The one book that I own that I really like is Natural Born Charmer. I also like It Had to Be You. I think that's probably one of her more popular ones. These are part of a series. I don't know what it's called, but it's basically about people who are connected to a football team, and like It Had to Be You is about a girl who ends up inheriting the team, and she like doesn't want anything to do with it and ends up like getting together with the coach and everything. But Susan Elizabeth Phillips writes amazing, great, relatable romances, and even though she's been writing for a really long time, I feel like her books are still spectacular, so she's a great one to recommend. Another one is Rachel Gibson. She's one of like my go-to contemporaries. She does have this habit of writing the same issue into several of her books, and it's The Secret Baby, and I hate that storyline where like a woman gets pregnant and never tells the guy, and then they don't see each other for years, and then she comes back. Ugh. It really bothers me because I just think that's really immature, but I still really like her, and I like her writing, and she does deal with kids a lot, which I do like. Kids happen, and they add an interesting dynamic to the romance and everything. Two of my favorites are actually, she has a series of books. They're about hockey players. Probably my favorite is this one, and that's CJ and Score. This is about like a bad boy hockey player who's trying to make a recovery, and a girl who is a journalist, and she ends up having to travel with the hockey team, and they start like interacting, and it's really enjoyable. I really like it. And then the other one is Nothing But Trouble, and this is about a hockey player who recently had like a career-ending injury, and he needs help, and this girl ends up being hired to assist him because like everyone else he pushes away, and it's just fun and exciting. She writes pretty enjoyable reads. I really like the hockey player books, but she writes other stuff. She writes a lot of things that take place in like the Idaho area, and I just feel like that's where she lives, I believe, and I feel like you don't read a lot about books in that area of the country. So and then the last one is Lisa Kleypas. She doesn't have a ton of contemporary, and she actually has like two series, kind of, the Travis family series. I don't remember what it's called. It's like a Pacific Northwest set series. The Travis series takes place in Texas. The Pacific Northwest one, the first book is Christmas Eve at Friday Harbor, which did become a movie for Hallmark, I believe, and I've just been kind of disappointed by those, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend those, but I would recommend the Travis family books, and there's only 3 of them out right now, but she's supposedly writing a 4th one, and they're about siblings in this very wealthy family in Houston, Texas, and the first one is called Sugar Daddy. I actually don't really like that one. But the second one is Blue-Eyed Devil, and this is one of my favorite books, and these are all told in first person, unlike like her historicals, which are in third person. This one, for example, is about a girl who, I think I've talked about this book before. She gets married against her father's wishes to her college boyfriend, and he ends up like physically and sexually abusing her in their marriage, and she ends up finally getting away, and she meets up with this like really rough, like kind of aggressive guy that she knew when she was a little younger, and it's about her growth and recovering from going through her marriage and everything. I really recommend this, and the third book in the series, Smooth Talking Stranger. Just like with the other recommendations, some authors that I haven't read but are very popular in the genre are Jill Shelvis, I think is how you say it. I do want to start reading her books, I just like haven't had the time to go get them, but I hear she's amazing and writes really good like small town contemporaries, I believe, so that's what you're looking for. And she does have a ton of books out, so if you're looking for someone with a lot of material, she's a good one to go to. And then another one is Kristen Ashley. I know she's incredibly popular. She was self-published, and I think she does some self-publishing still and some more traditional publishing now. I've actually kind of avoided her books because my understanding is that they're incredibly alpha male driven, and don't get me wrong, I like an alpha male. I mean, I read the Black Dagger Brotherhood, but from what I've heard, I feel like it's probably not for me, but like they say on the DBSA podcast, it seems like what she writes is crack. People just eat it all up. If you actually want to know anything about her, Sarah from Books and Junk, she really likes Kristen Ashley and talks about her fairly often. I'm not sure if she's done a video specifically on her, but if she has and I can find it, I will link it in the description if you want to check it out. So those are my contemporary recommendations. If you have any suggestions, just leave them down in the comments, or if you've read any of the authors I've recommended and you have anything to say, feel free. And thanks for watching. Bye!